Alright, so today we are going to go over how to set up a UI. This is kind of a sporadic video here. It's not planned very well. I don't have a script or anything. And I'm in the middle of PvPing, so I apologize if something comes up. But I wanted to show you. So number one, you'll notice my nameplates and my group might look a little bit different to you. It's because I'm using Xperl, which is this guy right here. Xperl unit frames. You can find them on Curse. I like them. They have a lot of different options. And then my bars are down here. That is using Dominos. This guy right here, again on Curse. So those are the two main elements of my UI. So I won't go over too much in Xperl. It's pretty self-explanatory, I think. The one thing I will tell you that I do here, the player frame scale and the target frame scale, I keep those guys pretty large. As you can see, it's 135. I like for them to be big, and I uncheck buffs. That way, instead of below my character, they're up above my minimap like normal. In case you're wondering about my minimap, I do use SexyMap, which is a pretty good add-on. I've just got this really slow moving thing. It's a lot cooler than a normal minimap. So how I set up my UI, you might notice it's a little bit goofy. That's because I have another video up explaining it, but I do use the Razor Tartarus and the Naga. So these are my binds that helps with my keyboard and my movement. Let's get into the UI. So first things first, once you have Xperl set up and you want to get your bars going, you left click the Dominoes icon and that will open up all your different options here. So you can see my cast bar, pet, encounter vehicle, all that good stuff. That's self-explanatory. There's also a class icon or a class bar. So if you have like stances like a warrior or a druid, will have all of its shape-shifting forms there. And then actually setting this up. So first off, you'll see my menu and my bags. They're hidden. If I exit, you'll see they're hidden. You can't see them. If I highlight over them, they'll pop up, right? Which is pretty cool. So how you can do that, you open up Dominoes, you right click any of these bars. So if I right click menu, first thing you'll notice is I can scale. So if I want to scale it up, it'll get bigger. I want to scale it down, whatever. I like to keep it about the same size as my bags. So right there. Now, how do I get it to automatically fade out? Well, there's two options here. So faded opacity, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, faded one. That one will show you, see how it's fading in and fading out? If I have it set to 0, that means whenever I highlight over it, it'll pop up. All right. The other thing is the scale, fading, and the regular opacity. For that guy, if you have that to 0, that means you won't see it at all. So, for instance, if I take my mount here, down here, my number 8, if I change it to opacity 0, that means you won't see it no matter what. Even though it's still there, I can still click it, you just won't see it. I don't use that very often, but I do use it to hide some things. So let me fix that real quick. Alright, so now I'm actually setting up the UI. So you'll see I have a few bars here. You can see the numbers according to what bars they are. So 1 in the middle, see a 4, a 6, a 9, a 3, right? That's the actual bar as it's labeled in Xperl. So this is bar 1, this is bar 2, etc. So to actually set up the UI, let me show you. I'll right click one of these guys. You'll notice my size is 8, my columns are 4. Alright, and I always up the scale. I'm on a pretty good resolution, so I up it to 130, so it's pretty big. So let's say I change the columns. You'll see as I up the columns, now that it's at 5, you can see it went up. If I reduce the columns, it changes how many columns there are. So you can play with the columns to figure out, exactly what you want to do. I've got mine set to 4 for the purposes here. And then the size tells you how many graphics it is. So, as I up the size up to 12, I can have up to 12 buttons. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this back. Alright. Scale, just to show you what that does. You can see it makes it small or makes it big. I think I was at 130. So it's pretty simple. Now you might ask, so I've got this guy right here, the single bar, that's size of 1, and that's it. It's one column, one size. Okay, and through the magic of editing, we're back. So as I mentioned, let's say I take one of these guys over here, so like my mount bar. If I change that size to 12, boom, you'll see now it's a full bar, right? So you simply change the size, whatever. Any of these you can move around, so I can click and drag any of these icons anywhere I want, right? And then Domino's has this cool thing by default, which is like sticky. So if I click close enough, it'll automatically sticky them and move them together. Okay. The next thing I want to show you in Dominos is actually keybinds. So you'll see I have some keybinds here, like N4, CN4, C button 3, button 3. So how you do that is you highlight over your Dominos icon, but instead of left clicking, you hold Shift and left click, and that'll open up the keybinding menu here. So any of these keybinds now, you simply highlight over what it is. Hitting Escape will clear the keybind. Otherwise, you simply hit the keybind that you want to do. So let's say I want to make this guy G. I hit G. Now there's a G over it, and you can see there's a message that says, okay, I set G, unset G, whatever. I'm going to cancel that so that doesn't save. Alright, that's it guys. That's a very, very basic UI setup guide. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will answer you usually rather quickly. Thanks again.